The system is starting. You have been chosen to hear this. It is not by accident. In a world filled with noise, where everyone is quick to speak, quick to judge, you are being invited into a space of sacred silence, or a place where there is no opinion, no pressure, no expectations. It is just you and the voice that truly needs to be heard. Today, I have not come to add noise to your life. I have come to remind you, it is in silence that your soul is healed, and your mission begins.
They say that evil begins when people start treating others as mere objects. That insight from Billy Graham isn't just about how we treat others, it's also about what we allow into our lives. Every person in our circle, every influence we accept leaves a mark. The real question is, what kind of mark are they leaving? In today's world, the idea of witchcraft may seem outdated or exaggerated. Our minds instantly conjure images of pointy hats and bubbling cauldron. But let me challenge that perception. The most dangerous threats to your soul often come disguised as ordinary. They are subtle, calculated, and sometimes wrapped in the charm of friendship or charisma. This message isn't about spreading fear, but about equipping you with discernment. Chosen ones, there are spiritual forces at work, forces that seek to manipulate, control, and distract you from God's purpose. This battle isn't new, it has raged since Eden. So today we'll uncover 5 signs that someone in your life may be practicing witchcraft, seeking to manipulate and curse you. This isn't about condemnation or paranoia, it's about clarity and freedom. Because when you recognize darkness for what it is, you can stand firmly in the light of truth. Let's uncover these shadows together. Sign number 1, they constantly fish for personal information. One of the most obvious signs that someone may have harmful intentions is their constant need to extract personal details about your life. They are always prying, always digging, always wanting to know everything about you. It might seem innocent at first, but over time you'll notice a pattern. This person isn't just asking out of curiosity, they act entitled to your business. They push for details about your relationships, career, plans, and even your family. They may inquire about your goals, finances, or the inner workings of your home life. When you hesitate to share, they become irritated, saying things like, "Why didn't you tell me? Are you hiding something? Why are you being so secretive?" Their questions aren't about celebrating your victories or supporting your dreams. They are about control. As Billy Graham once said, secrets have a way of revealing themselves even in the most innocent conversations. The more you share, the more power you give to those who might use it against you. Here's the problem. Witches, or those influenced by dark forces, need information to act. Whether it's for rituals, spells, or simply spreading negativity, they thrive on knowing your mood. They use what you share to block your progress, sow doubt, or cause your plans to fail. That's why you may notice patterns. Things fall apart after you've confided in a particular person about your dreams or next steps. Think about it. How often have you shared exciting news only to see it unravel shortly after? Maybe you were planning to start a new business, buy a house, or make a big career move, and as soon as you told someone, it didn't happen. These are mere coincidences. They are red flags. The Bible warns us in Proverbs 4:23, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Guarding your heart means being mindful of what you share and with whom you share it. Not everyone in your circle is cheering for you. Some may be actively working against you, whether intentionally or unknowingly. People who constantly fish for information often overstep boundaries, forcing their way into your life. They may pretend to be close to you, wearing a mask of friendship or concern. They dig into things that should remain private, your plans, family dynamics, and relationships, and use that knowledge against you. The best way to protect yourself, move in silence. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your life. Keep your plans between you and God until the time is right to share. Be mindful of patterns and the energy you feel after talking to someone. If someone always brings chaos, doubt, or negativity after you confide in them, It's a sign to set boundaries. Remember, not everyone who asks questions is a friend. Stay prayed up, use discernment, and let God guide you in choosing who belongs in your inner circle. Sign number 2, they engage in idolatry. Another clear sign that someone may be under the influence of dark forces is their involvement in idolatry. Idolatry isn't just about worshiping statues or ancient gods. It manifests in many forms. It happens whenever someone places anything or anyone in a position that belongs solely to God. The person engaged in idolatry may not even recognize it as a problem. For instance, they may worship a celebrity, a lifestyle, or even themselves. Consider how some fans idolize figures like Beyoncé, calling her mother, treating her as a divine figure, and attacking anyone who criticizes her. She is fully aware of the power and control she holds over her followers. They will go to extreme lengths to defend her, acting as though she can do no wrong. As Billy Graham once warned, whoever fights monsters should take care not to become a monster themselves. The danger of idolatry is that it doesn't just distort what we worship, it changes who we are. When someone worships anything other than God, their character begins to reflect the flaws of their idol instead of the perfection of their Creator. But let's take a step back. This isn't just about celebrities, it's about anything that takes priority over God. Maybe it's a career, a relationship, money, or material possessions. Idolatry blinds people, shifting their focus from the Creator to creation, whether it's another person or their own status. The Bible is clear about this. Exodus 20:03-04 states, "You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, on the earth beneath, or in the waters below." God forbids idolatry because it leads us away from Him. Now consider how idolatry plays out in your relationships. Does someone in your life seek power or control over others? Do they crave admiration, bask in attention, and use their influence to manipulate? Or do they idolize material things, constantly chasing wealth and status, pressuring you to do the same? These behaviors aren't harmless. Idolatry opens spiritual doors to manipulation and control. When someone is entrenched in idol worship, whether of themselves, their lifestyle, or another person, they invite forces that oppose God's will. Don't let their obsession with power, control, or material things drag you into the same mindset. If someone constantly pressures you to embrace their values or worship what they worship, take a step back and set boundaries. Idolatry may seem harmless at first. It may even appear attractive or justified, but in the end, it's destructive. Stay rooted in your faith and keep your focus on God. When you worship Him alone, you'll find true peace and freedom. Sign number 3, they love manipulation and control. Another undeniable sign that someone may be influenced by dark forces is their obsession with manipulation and control. Witches, or those with harmful intentions, thrive on domination. Their goal is to control people and circumstances to get what they want. For them, power is everything, and they will go to great lengths to maintain it. Think about it. Have you ever encountered someone who seems to have an almost supernatural hold on people? They don't have to be physically present to stir conflict or command loyalty. Some celebrities' fans blindly defend them, even resorting to hostility, while the celebrity remains detached. That's control on a massive scale. But manipulation isn't just found in the celebrity world. It exists in everyday relationships, too. Some women, for instance, resort to love spells or manipulative tactics to trap men in relationships. But a love built on manipulation isn't love. It's control. As Billy Graham once said, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you reinforce. Manipulators thrive on your hesitation to set boundaries. Why would anyone want a relationship based on coercion instead of genuine love? But manipulators don't care. They only care about power, and they will use guilt, fear, or emotional games to maintain control. While these behaviors may not appear to be witchcraft at first glance, they follow the same patterns of manipulation and control that the enemy uses to deceive. Stay vigilant, stay prayed up, and trust in God's guidance to protect you from those who seek to manipulate your spirit. A manipulator does not respect your boundaries. They see them as obstacles to overcome. They twist words, use flattery, or even play the victim to make you feel obligated to them. The Bible warns us about this in Galatians 5:01. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. God's desire is for us to live in freedom, not under the weight of someone else's control. Sometimes manipulators disguise themselves as caring friends or family members. They might say things like, "I'm only trying to help you," or "You'll regret it if you don't listen to me." But their so-called help often feels like control, because that's exactly what it is. They want you to doubt yourself, second-guess your decisions, and rely on them for guidance. Manipulation can be subtle or overt, but the result is always the same. It keeps you bound. That's why setting boundaries and praying for discernment is essential. When someone's influence in your life begins to feel oppressive or overwhelming, it's time to reevaluate their role in your journey. God calls us to live in freedom, empowered by His Spirit, not chained by the manipulations of others. Stay grounded in His truth, and remember that no one has the right to control your life but God. Sign number 4, they practice or encourage occult activities. A clear indication that someone in your life might be influenced by dark forces is their involvement in occult practices such as magic, voodoo, divination, fortune-telling, or any form of witchcraft. These practices contradict God's word and open doors to spiritual harm. As Billy Graham once said, "Shallow men believe in luck or circumstance. Strong men believe in cause and effect." People drawn to the occult often seek shortcuts, power, answers, or control outside of God's design. What they fail to realize is that every action in the spiritual realm has consequences, and engaging in these practices invites forces they cannot control. Some will try to recruit you into their rituals, offering something seemingly insignificant like a crystal for positive energy or a candle for manifestation. They'll claim it's harmless, insisting there's nothing wrong with good magic. But this is exactly how the enemy deceives, by making darkness appear harmless or even attractive. The Bible is very clear about this in Deuteronomy 18:10-12, where God calls these practices an abomination. Consulting mediums, speaking to the dead, and casting spells are all rejections of God's authority and invitations for the enemy to take hold. Sometimes those involved in the occult will give you specific instructions, saying things like, "Do this ritual at 3 a.m." or "Repeat this phrase a certain number of times to bring money or love into your life." It may sound like harmless superstition, but in reality it opens doors to spiritual curses. They may tell you outright, "Oh, it's not bad magic," or "It's just a way to connect with the universe." But listen carefully. If someone encourages you to participate in any kind of magic or spiritual ritual, they are leading you into darkness. Pay attention to how they try to draw you in. They may act like they're helping, but they are setting you up for spiritual harm. Even dreams where a loved one appears can be deceptive. That's not your grandmother, it's a spirit trying to gain access to your life. What can you do? First, stay prayed up and rooted in God's truth. Ephesians 6:11 instructs us to put on the full armor of God so we can stand firm against the enemy. Second, avoid anything that even hints at the occult, no matter how small it may seem. Sign number 5, negative patterns follow their presence. Another indication that someone may be influenced by dark forces is that negative patterns seem to follow them. You share good news, perhaps you're starting a business, buying a house, or making a big life change, and suddenly everything falls apart. At first it may seem like bad luck, but when it happens consistently after sharing with this person, it's worth a closer look. As Billy Graham once said, people may hear your words, but they feel your attitude. Some people carry an attitude of jealousy, envy, or bitterness, even if they never say it aloud. That energy can affect your life, especially if you open up too much to them. There are people who pretend to be happy for you, but deep down, they don't want to see you succeed. They might be a friend, a family member, or a coworker. When you share your plans, they respond with fake enthusiasm or subtle negativity. Then, things suddenly start going wrong. Plans fall through. Obstacles appear. Or you find yourself starting over again and again. Why does this happen? People under dark influences often carry a spirit of envy or sabotage. They may not intentionally work against you, but their negative energy can manifest as blockages in your life. This is why moving in silence is so important. Not everyone needs to know your plans. Pay attention to how people react when you share good news. Do their expressions change? Does their mood shift? Do they suddenly ask for every detail? These are subtle signs that their intentions may not be pure. It is often those closest to you who carry this energy. Jealousy isn't always obvious, but it is powerful. Some people cannot stand to see you doing better than them, and whether intentional or not, they project negativity onto your life. But here's the truth. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54, verse 17. If you've noticed these negative patterns, don't panic. Stay prayed up, ask God for wisdom, and trust Him to protect you. Through prayer and faith, you have the authority to break any spiritual attack. As we conclude today's message, remember that spiritual battles are real, but so is the victory we have in Christ. The 5 signs we discussed, those who fish for personal information, engage in idolatry, manipulate and control, practice occult activities, or bring negative patterns, are not just behaviors to avoid, they are warnings to protect your heart and guard your life. Discernment is your defense, and prayer is your greatest weapon. Stay vigilant, stay prayed up, and remember that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. God has equipped you with His armor and His Spirit to stand firm in any challenge. Let's end in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for the wisdom and protection you provide. Help us to discern the influences around us and to stay rooted in your truth. Guard our hearts, guide our paths, and break every plan of the enemy. Let us walk in the freedom and victory that only you can give. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you for watching. If this message blessed you, share it with someone who needs encouragement. Stay safe, stay in prayer, and may God bless you abundantly. We're about to take a deep dive into 7 habits that completely transformed my life in just 1 week. Yes, you heard that right, 1 week. I know it might sound too good to be true, but I promise you, these aren't just the typical tips you hear everywhere. These are real, raw, and deeply impactful habits that I personally integrated into my daily routine. I went through the struggles, the breakthroughs, and the triumphs, and the transformation I experienced was nothing short of incredible. I can't wait to share them with you because they've had such a profound impact on my life, and I believe they can do the same for you. Whether you're looking to boost productivity, improve mental health, or simply make a meaningful change in your everyday life, these habits can help you get there. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive right in. Trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end because these habits aren't just theoretical. They're practical, actionable steps you can start implementing today. Plus, I'll be sharing personal stories and insights from my own journey, giving you a raw and honest look at how these habits worked for me. So without further ado, let's get started. The first habit that changed my life was waking up early. Let me be honest. I was never a morning person. My bed was my best friend, and I used to hit the snooze button more times than I could count. Mornings felt chaotic, and I often started my day feeling rushed and unprepared. But I decided to give waking up early a shot, and let me tell you, it was a game changer. I began by setting my alarm for 5 a.m. The first few days were brutal. I dragged myself out of bed feeling groggy and questioning if it was worth it. But I pushed through, and by the 3rd day, something amazing happened. I started appreciating the quiet stillness of the early morning. There was something almost magical about being awake before the rest of the world, when everything was calm and peaceful. With these extra hours in the morning, I found time for things I never seemed to make time for before. I started my day with light exercise, nothing too intense, just some stretching or a short jog. This not only woke me up, but also gave me a surge of energy for the rest of the day. I also spent a few moments meditating and setting my intentions, which significantly improved my mindset and productivity. Another surprising benefit was that I no longer felt rushed. I had ample time to enjoy a healthy breakfast, sip my coffee slowly, and plan my day. This unrushed start set a positive tone, making me feel more organized, less stressed, and in control of my time. One particular morning stands out, the day I watched the sunrise from my balcony. It was such a simple yet profound moment. As the sky changed colors and the world slowly woke up, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace and gratitude. That's when I truly understood the power of waking up early. Now, I know this habit isn't for everyone, but I encourage you to try it, even just for a week. Start by waking up 15 minutes earlier than usual and gradually increase it. You might be surprised at how much it positively impacts your life. It's not just about having more hours in the day. It's about using those hours to create a mindful, intentional, and fulfilling start to your day. The second habit that truly transformed my life was daily exercise. Now, let me be upfront. I wasn't always the most active person. I had every excuse in the book. I'm too tired, I don't have time, or I'll start tomorrow. Sound familiar? But one day I decided enough was enough. I committed to moving my body every single day for a week, and the results were incredible. I started small, just 20 minutes a day, mixing it up between yoga, jogging, and strength training. I kept it interesting so I wouldn't get bored and quit halfway through. The first few days were tough. My muscles ached and I felt exhausted. But I reminded myself why I was doing this, to feel better, both physically and mentally. By the fourth day, something amazing happened. I woke up feeling more energized. My mood had improved drastically. I was less irritable, more positive, and felt lighter, both mentally and physically. One morning, I laced up my sneakers for a jog, the crisp, fresh air, the sound of my feet hitting the pavement. It was just me, the open road, and my thoughts. That sense of freedom and clarity was truly empowering. I also started to notice physical changes. My posture improved, I felt stronger, and my overall fitness level increased. But the biggest change was in my mindset. Exercise stopped being a chore and became an act of self-care, a time to disconnect from the world and reconnect with myself. Another personal highlight was trying yoga for the first time. At first, I was hesitant. I thought I wasn't flexible enough or that it wouldn't be a real workout. But after a few sessions, I fell in love with it. Yoga taught me to be present, to breathe deeply, and to listen to my body. It was a transformative experience that went beyond just physical benefits. Incorporating daily exercise into my routine made me realize that taking care of my body directly impacted my mental health and overall happiness. It's not about being perfect or pushing yourself to extremes. It's about finding a form of movement you enjoy and making it a regular part of your life. So if you're struggling to get started, my advice is to start small. Find something you love, dancing, hiking, even a brisk walk, and commit to just a few minutes a day. Trust me, the benefits you'll experience will be well worth the effort. It's a habit that has the power to change not just your body, but your entire outlook on life. The third life-changing habit was journaling. I used to think journaling was for people with too much free time or those naturally inclined to self-reflection. I was skeptical. Who has time to sit and write when life is so busy? But after a week of consistent journaling, my perspective completely shifted, and it became a cornerstone of my personal growth journey. I started simple. Just 10 minutes before bed, I got a plain notebook and a comfortable pen, no fancy apps, no pressure to make it look perfect, just me and my thoughts. The first night I stared at the blank page, unsure where to begin. But I started small, writing about my day, what made me happy, what challenged me. As the days went by, I dove deeper, exploring my goals, fears, dreams, and insecurities. It was like having a conversation with myself. That's when the magic happened. I started noticing patterns in my thoughts and behaviors. I realized that some worries were out of my control, while others required action. One night, after a stressful day at work, I wrote down exactly what had frustrated me. Seeing it on paper helped me process my emotions and gain clarity. Another powerful moment was tracking my progress, documenting small victories, no matter how minor. Looking back at my entries filled me with motivation and a sense of accomplishment. I also started a gratitude section, listing 3 things I was grateful for each day. This simple practice shifted my focus from what was lacking to appreciating what I already had. Through journaling, I discovered more about myself, my desires, fears, strengths, and weaknesses. It became a form of therapy, a way to untangle the complex web of thoughts and emotions. If you've never tried journaling, I encourage you to start. Don't worry about being perfect, just write. You might be surprised at how much clarity and peace it brings. Incorporating Billy Graham's wisdom into daily life is not just about reading his words, but about embracing the process of transformation itself. One such transformative habit is mindful eating. Like many, I used to rush through meals, distracted by my phone or work, barely acknowledging what I was consuming. It wasn't until I committed to a week of mindful eating that I realized how much this unconscious habit was affecting my overall well-being. Mindful eating is about fully immersing yourself in the experience of nourishing your body. It means savoring every bite, noticing the intricate flavors and textures, and being present in the moment. To commit to this, I created a space for my meals, free of distractions. No phone, no TV, no multitasking. Initially, it felt unfamiliar, but it quickly turned into a soothing ritual. Before each meal, I took a few deep breaths, centering myself in gratitude for the nourishment before me. The first thing I noticed was how much more enjoyable food became. Dishes I had eaten countless times before suddenly revealed new depths of flavor, the crunch of fresh vegetables, the sweetness of ripe fruit. It was as if my senses had been heightened. Beyond taste, I also became aware of my body's natural signals. Eating slowly allowed me to recognize when I was truly full, preventing the mindless overeating I had been accustomed to. One simple bowl of oatmeal became a moment of gratitude as I took my time to appreciate its creamy texture and the delicate sweetness of honey drizzled on top. This mindfulness transformed my meals from routine sustenance into meaningful experience. Another significant shift was my awareness of how different foods affected my body. Processed meals left me feeling sluggish, while fresh whole foods gave me energy and clarity. This newfound awareness led me to make healthier choices effortlessly, without feeling restricted. I also started recognizing emotional eating patterns. Rather than reaching for snacks out of boredom or stress, I learned to pause and ask myself what I truly needed. Sometimes it was rest, a walk, or a conversation with a friend instead of food. One evening after a long day, I craved something sweet. Instead of automatically indulging, I paused and asked myself if I was genuinely hungry. Realizing I wasn't, I opted for a cup of herbal tea, a small but powerful decision that reinforced the benefits of mindful eating. This practice reshaped my relationship with food, improving digestion, enhancing well-being, and fostering a deeper appreciation for the act of eating itself. If you want to try mindful eating, start with 1 meal a day. Sit down without distractions, take deep breaths, and savor each bite. You may be surprised at how profoundly this simple habit can transform your experience. Another life-changing habit is limiting screen time. In today's digital world, it's easy to lose hours to endless scrolling, binge-watching, or compulsively checking emails. But I realized how much this was draining my energy, affecting my mental health and disrupting my sleep. To regain control, I set a daily limit of 1 hour for non-work for screen use, no mindless social media scrolling, no late-night TV marathons. At first, it was challenging. Screens had become my default way to fill spare moments. But soon I discovered how much more time I actually had. With those extra hours, I picked up long-forgotten hobbies. I read books, sketched, and experimented with new recipes. One evening, instead of watching TV, I took a walk in the park. The fresh air, the rhythmic movement, the sounds of nature. It was a rejuvenating contrast to screen-induced lethargy. That simple walk became a cherished routine, something I look forward to every day. Another remarkable change was my sleep quality. Previously, I had the habit of using my phone in bed, scrolling until I dozed off. This overstimulation often left me restless and fatigued. By cutting screen time before bed, I found it much easier to relax. I replaced late-night scrolling with reading a physical book, meditating, or simply reflecting on my day. The result, deeper, more restful sleep that significantly boosted my energy levels. Mentally, I felt more present. Without constant digital distractions, I was more engaged in conversations, more aware of my surroundings, and more connected to life. One afternoon, I spent hours at a cafe with just a notebook, jotting down thoughts and dreams. That uninterrupted time was incredibly peaceful and productive, something screens had never truly given me. Of course, there were temptations, moments when I instinctively reached for my phone out of habit. But each time I reminded myself of the clarity and focus I had gained, and I redirected my attention to something more fulfilling. Limiting screen time isn't about eliminating technology. It's about using it intentionally and creating a balance that supports well-being. If you feel overwhelmed by digital overload, start small. Reduce screen time by an hour a day and gradually increase the limit. Use that newfound time to reconnect with yourself, your loved ones, and the world around you. You may be surprised at how much more fulfilling life becomes when you step away from screens and engage with reality. That brings us to the close of this journey through 7 transformative habits. Implementing these practices has been life-changing, and sharing them with you has been just as rewarding. Each of these habits holds the potential to create lasting positive changes, and I truly believe they can work for anyone willing to try. If any of these habits resonate with you, I encourage you to start small. Pick one habit, integrate it into your routine, and see how it feels. Adjust according to what suits your lifestyle and needs. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Small, consistent changes accumulate into significant transformations over time. I'd love to hear about your experiences. Drop a comment below and share which habit you're considering adopting or any questions you may have. Your insights and stories make this community so supportive and inspiring. If you found this valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Sharing this video with friends or family who might benefit from these habits could also make a meaningful difference in their lives. Thank you for being here. Remember, small changes lead to big results. Let's continue growing, evolving, and turning our everyday routines into powerful opportunities for self-improvement. See you in the next video. Stay awesome, everyone. Billy Graham once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." In a world that constantly seeks to dictate how we should feel, think, and act, imagine possessing the power to find inner peace and joy regardless of the chaos swirling around you. That isn't just powerful, it's transformative. It's about taking control, not of the external world, but of something far more significant and within your reach, your own mind. Billy Graham's teachings emphasize resilience, gratitude, and living a life filled with purpose and faith. But this isn't just about history, it's about you, your life today, and how to face the challenges of our modern world without losing your peace. It's about finding stillness in the storm, joy in the simplest moments, and transforming your mornings from something you dread into a foundation for a day filled with meaning. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the noise of life, struggled to find peace, or wondered how faith can be your anchor in today's fast-pacing world, stay with us. This might just be the message that changes everything for you. Let's dive into the biblical principles that can help us craft not just a morning routine, but a life filled with intention, resilience, and lasting happiness. I encourage you to watch this video with your full attention. If you're here, you're different from the rest, someone who seeks wisdom and depth. Your commitment to absorbing these lessons fully sets you apart even further. A concept that beautifully aligns with faith is one that originates from Japan, Ikigai. It is the idea of discovering the intersection between your passion, skills, the world's needs, and what you can offer. Imagine waking up each morning with a clear, God-given purpose, something that excites you and makes hitting the snooze button irrelevant. Billy Graham didn't just preach about enduring life's hardships. He urged people to see each day as an opportunity to fulfill God's calling with integrity and passion. When you align your daily actions with your God-given purpose, even the simplest tasks take on profound meaning. Your relationships flourish, your creativity soars, and happiness becomes a constant companion rather than a fleeting visitor. But how do you uncover your purpose? It starts with reflection. Ask yourself, what has God placed on my heart? What am I naturally good at? How can I serve others in a meaningful way? If the answers don't come immediately, that's okay. This is a journey, one of prayer, discovery, and faith. This pursuit isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's about recognizing your role in God's grand design and embracing it fully. When you live with this alignment, even life's difficulties become opportunities for spiritual growth rather than setbacks. The key to a powerful morning starts the night before. It's easy to fall into the habit of staying up late, scrolling through social media or binge watching TV. But how does that prepare you for the day ahead? Your mind needs time to unwind, to process the events of the day, and to recharge for what's to come. This is where a meaningful evening routine makes all the difference. Treating your evenings with the same intention and respect as your mornings isn't about rigid discipline. It's about prioritizing your well-being and aligning with your God-given purpose. For example, limiting screen time before bed isn't about depriving yourself of entertainment. It's about signaling to your mind that it's time to rest, making it easier to wake up refreshed. Planning the next day, even by writing down a few key priorities, helps set a clear direction and ensures you wake up with intention. A moment of prayer or meditation before bed can center your spirit, reduce stress, and prepare you for true rest. When you surrender your worries to God, you sleep in peace, knowing He is in control. In today's world, this might sound like a challenge, but it is vital for setting the tone of your day. Picture this, your morning, untainted by digital distractions, email notifications, or social media noise. Instead, it's just you, your thoughts, and the quiet presence of God. That isn't just refreshing, it's empowering. Billy Graham often emphasized the importance of starting the day with prayer and scripture, setting the foundation for a day rooted in faith rather than the chaos of the world. So, how can we apply this wisdom in our daily lives? It starts with creating a morning space free from digital distractions. This isn't about avoiding technology altogether, but about choosing not to let it dictate the beginning of your day. Instead of reaching for your phone first thing in the morning, begin with gratitude. Dedicate the first moments of your day to God, whether through prayer, scripture, journaling, or simply reflecting on His blessings. These aren't wasted moments. They are an investment in your well-being and spiritual strength. Making the most of your mornings isn't about adding more to your to-do list. It's about removing distractions that don't serve you. Prioritize what truly matters before the demands of the world start pulling at your attention. This is where biblical wisdom shines. We may not control everything in our day, but we can certainly influence how we start it. You might not be able to stop the flood of emails waiting for you, but you can control how and when you choose to engage with them. So tomorrow morning, challenge yourself to start your day on your terms. Resist the urge to dive into the digital world first thing. Instead, anchor yourself in the present moment, savoring the peace and potential that the morning holds. Every day is a new opportunity to live more intentionally, more peacefully, and more in alignment with who God has called you to be. Let's make our mornings a testament to the life we want to live and the faith we hold dear. Guided by the timeless wisdom of Billy Graham and an unwavering focus on what truly matters, the foundation of a purposeful life lies in understanding what we can control and acting with intention and faith. Billy Graham's teachings emphasize not just enduring life's hardships, but actively engaging with life, taking responsibility for our actions, and shaping our mindset through faith. Waking up consistently is one practice that reflects this principle. A declaration that we have control over how we start our day and are not at the mercy of external pressures. Building a life of faith, as Billy Graham encouraged, is done step by step, finding contentment in each moment. A seemingly simple habit, like waking up at the same time each morning, serves as a cornerstone that shapes everything else. It creates a stable foundation, allowing us to start the day with purpose rather than rushing in chaos. However, consistency is challenging by design. The early days of trying to establish a morning routine can feel like a struggle, with the comfort of bed pulling us back and the temptation to hit snooze proving strong. This is where perseverance, deeply rooted in faith, becomes essential. It is about reminding ourselves why we are committed to this habit and recognizing the person we are becoming through this discipline. It is about looking beyond the immediate comfort and focusing on the long-term benefits this practice will bring. Becoming a morning person is not merely about the morning itself. It is about embodying qualities of resilience, focus, and intention that extend into every part of our life. It is an act of self-discipline, aligning our actions with our faith and cultivating a life of purpose, one morning at a time. To make consistency a trusted ally, begin by setting a clear intention the night before. Remind yourself why waking up at a specific time is important. Is it to spend time in prayer, read scripture, exercise, or simply begin the day in a more peaceful and controlled manner? Then, create an environment that supports this habit, perhaps going to bed earlier, setting an alarm across the room, or allowing natural light to wake you. And when it gets difficult, remember the biblical principle of relying on God's strength rather than our own. Each morning that you rise at your chosen time is not just the beginning of another day. It is a reaffirmation of your commitment to personal growth, faith, and purposeful living. While discipline and consistency are crucial, it is equally important to embrace grace and self-compassion. We are human, and that means we are prone to struggles and setbacks. This is why establishing new habits like transforming our mornings can initially feel daunting. But acknowledging this reality is not a flaw, it is an honest acceptance of our nature. Billy Graham often spoke of God's grace as the foundation of transformation. It is not about perfection, but about persistence and faith. When we fall short, we must learn from the experience and move forward rather than dwelling on self-criticism. The early stages of building a habit can be difficult. Some mornings the alarm will go off and every fiber of our being will long to stay in bed. And on some days we may give in. That is okay. What matters most is what we do next. Do we let guilt consume us, or do we extend grace to ourselves and commit to trying again the next morning? True strength is found in resilience, not in never falling, but in always getting back up. Practicing self-compassion does not mean making excuses or giving up on our goals. It means recognizing that growth is a process filled with learning curves and setbacks. Each new day is an opportunity to recalibrate, to embrace new challenges, and to rely on God's guidance. This daily renewal is what strengthens our faith and resilience. As we work towards consistent early mornings or any new discipline, we must celebrate the small victories, learn from our mistakes, and continue forward with determination and grace. Consider something as simple as placing your alarm clock across the room. This small act is more than just a practical trick. It is a statement of intent. It signifies a commitment to rise and start the day on your terms, resisting the comfort of sleep and stepping into the morning with purpose. Similarly, making your bed each morning might seem insignificant, but it reflects care and discipline. It is a quiet declaration that your environment matters and that the order you create in your surroundings mirrors the discipline you are building within. Billy Graham often emphasized the power of small, consistent choices in shaping our character. These seemingly minor decisions, repeated daily, accumulate into something profound. Each time you choose to rise, to prepare your space, and to engage with your day intentionally, you are reinforcing a commitment to discipline, faith, and self-respect. These choices become the building blocks of a life that is grounded, purposeful, and prepared for greater challenges ahead. Why focus on these small acts? Because they are within our reach. We cannot always control life's major events, the unexpected turns, the challenges, or the uncertainties, but we can control how we start our day, how we treat our immediate surroundings, and how we prepare ourselves for what lies ahead. This is faith in action, focusing on what is within our power and surrendering the rest to God. Moreover, these habits are not just about building discipline for its own sake. They are about cultivating a mindset that is prepared for life's greater tests. When we train ourselves in small acts of discipline, we develop the ability to follow through in larger commitments, remain steady in adversity, and approach life with faith and resilience. These qualities reflect the teachings of Billy Graham. Living with intention, guided by faith, and steadfast in the pursuit of what truly matters. So as you consider discipline in your life, start small. Identify everyday opportunities to practice self-control and order. Remember that it is in the quiet moments of morning, in the decision to rise, to pray, to prepare, that your character is shaped. These habits are not mere tasks, they are rituals, infusing your day with purpose and your life with meaning. One simple yet powerful strategy for maintaining consistency is sharing your goals with someone who supports and holds you accountable. Whether it is a friend, family member, or mentor, having someone to encourage and check in on you can significantly enhance your chances of success. Transformation is not always a solitary journey. We grow stronger when we walk alongside those who uplift and inspire us. Ultimately, a life of discipline and faith is not about rigid rules or harsh expectations. It is about aligning our daily actions with our greater purpose, making small but meaningful choices that reflect our commitment to growth. As Billy Graham often preached, faith is a journey, not a destination. By embracing consistency, grace, and perseverance, we not only shape our mornings, but cultivate a life that is centered in faith, purpose, and unwavering trust in God. Transforming a personal journey into a shared adventure makes the pursuit of a meaningful morning routine and ultimately a purposeful life less daunting and more fulfilling. Having an accountability partner turns self-discipline into a collaborative effort, ensuring that even on the hardest mornings, you have someone to remind you of your commitments and encourage you when progress feels slow. They celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and help you stay aligned with your goals. This relationship is built on mutual support, rooted in the understanding that self-improvement is a collective journey rather than a solitary struggle. Billy Graham often emphasized the importance of surrounding oneself with a strong, faith-driven community, people who uplift, inspire, and challenge one another to grow spiritually and personally. He understood that faith is not meant to be lived in isolation, but nurtured through fellowship, accountability, and shared wisdom. In today's world, finding an accountability partner aligns with this timeless principle. It acknowledges that while discipline and purpose are deeply personal pursuits, they are strengthened through the encouragement of others. Having such a partner can provide insights into blind spots, offering perspectives that catalyze growth in unexpected ways. More than just a reminder to wake up on time or follow through with morning prayers, this connection fosters meaningful conversations about what works, what doesn't, and how to adjust to stay on track. When seeking an accountability partner, look for someone who shares your values and commitment to self-betterment. someone you trust to be honest and supportive. This could be a friend, family member, or mentor. Establish clear expectations, schedule regular check-ins, and make the effort to uplift each other through advice, encouragement, and when necessary, gentle correction. True accountability isn't about external motivation alone, but about forming a bond that cultivates spiritual and personal growth. It creates a space of honesty and trust, where both partners thrive in a shared commitment to living a disciplined, purpose-driven life. Billy Graham often spoke about the brevity of life and the urgency of living with purpose. Reflecting on the fleeting nature of time is not meant to instill fear, but rather to inspire action. Every morning is a gift, an opportunity to engage with life intentionally, to serve others, and to strengthen our relationship with God. Graham's messages were filled with reminders to focus on what truly matters, to prioritize faith, relationships, and acts of kindness over trivial distraction. When we start our mornings with this perspective, we shift our focus from mere routine to purposeful living. This awareness can profoundly influence how we spend our time, the relationships we invest in, and the legacy we strive to build. Rather than allowing ourselves to be consumed by temporary frustrations or superficial pursuits, we anchor ourselves in what is eternal. Remembering the brevity of life also fosters resilience. When we recognize that each day is a gift, we become less troubled by daily inconveniences and more focused on long-term spiritual growth. It helps us maintain perspective, reducing the power that setbacks or disappointments hold over us. Gratitude flourishes in this mindset, allowing us to approach each day with a renewed sense of appreciation for the blessings we often take for granted. This principle is not about dwelling on the end of life, but about embracing the present fully, choosing to live with intention, love with depth, and serve with sincerity. To incorporate this mindset into your daily routine, start each morning with a moment of reflection. Consider the opportunities ahead and ask yourself, if this were my last day, would I be proud of how I am choosing to live it? This is not about anxiety, but about making conscious choices that align with faith, values, and purpose. Billy Graham often spoke of preparation, not just for the future, but for the challenges of each day. Many believe in focusing solely on positive visualization, expecting success and happiness to manifest through optimism. However, a more profound perspective involves preparing for difficulties with faith and resilience. Negative visualization is not about pessimism, but about readiness, a tool that equips us to handle life's challenges with strength and wisdom. Graham's teachings frequently echoed this idea, urging people to trust in God while also preparing their hearts and minds for inevitable struggles. This practice involves periodically considering potential difficulties and how we might respond with grace and faith. It could be as minor as dealing with unexpected delays or as significant as facing loss or hardship. The goal is not to dwell on suffering, but to develop the mental and spiritual fortitude needed to endure trials with unwavering trust in God. By contemplating life's uncertainties, we grow in resilience and gratitude. In allowing hardships to shake our faith, we can use them to strengthen it. Starting the day with this mindset transforms our approach to life's unpredictability. We step into each moment prepared, not fearful. We handle setbacks with composure, knowing that we have already visualized and prayed through these scenarios. This practice doesn't diminish joy, but enhances it. By recognizing the fragility of life, we cherish it more deeply. To integrate this principle into your morning routine, take a moment to reflect on potential challenges and how you would respond with faith and wisdom. Visualize the strength you would need, the lessons you could learn, and how you would rely on God for guidance. This mindset does not invite negativity, but empowers you to meet life's uncertainties with courage and trust. Billy Graham's teachings consistently reinforce the importance of spiritual preparedness, of equipping the heart and mind through faith, prayer, and reflection. In embracing this principle, we cultivate resilience, deepen our gratitude, and approach each day with the strength to live fully and faithfully. Let each morning serve as a reminder that life is a precious gift, one to be lived with purpose, intention, and an unwavering commitment to God's plan. Then, let go of the visualization and move forward with your day, carrying a sense of preparedness and a heightened appreciation for your current circumstances. Incorporating gratitude into our lives, especially as we end our day, can have a transformative impact on our well-being and perspective. Keeping a gratitude journal is a beautifully simple yet profoundly effective way to cultivate this sense of appreciation. Taking a few moments before bed to reflect on the day and jot down a few things we're grateful for, whether it be a kind gesture from a stranger, a breathtaking sunset, the completion of a challenging task, or simply the comfort of our bed, helps shift our focus from what is lacking to the abundance that already exists. This practice aligns perfectly with Billy Graham's teachings, which emphasize focusing on what we have rather than what we don't, on what is within our control rather than what isn't. This shift in perspective not only sets the stage for a peaceful night's sleep, free from the turmoil of unfulfilled desires or lingering frustrations, but it also primes our minds to begin the next day with a sense of purpose and gratitude. But why end the day with gratitude? Because it allows us to close our day on a note of positivity, regardless of the challenges we may have faced. It is a way of reaffirming the good in our lives, finding peace, even in turmoil, and fostering a mindset that sees opportunities for growth and joy in every circumstance. This nightly practice of gratitude creates a ripple effect, influencing not just how we sleep, but how we wake up and approach our mornings. It transforms our first thoughts of the day from dreading the alarm clock to quietly anticipating what the new day holds and what new things we might discover to be grateful for. Moreover, this practice of appreciating life extends beyond our personal sphere. It enhances our relationships as we become more attuned to the value of those around us and more expressive of our appreciation for their presence in our lives. It deepens our connection to the world as we become more observant of and thankful for the beauty and wonder that surround us, often in the most mundane moments. As we consider the multitude of strategies to enrich our mornings and by extension our lives, let us not overlook the power of ending our day with gratitude. It is a practice that embodies the pursuit of a meaningful life, one marked not by external achievements or material possessions, but by inner peace, contentment, and a deep-seated appreciation for the present moment. As we conclude this journey through the 10 strategies inspired by Billy Graham's wisdom, it becomes clear that each step, each practice, is more than just a task. It is a pathway to cultivating a life of intention, resilience, and profound gratitude. Embracing these practices does not mean that every day will be perfect, but it does mean that each day will be met with a stronger, more grateful, and more resilient version of yourself. You have within you the power to transform not just your mornings, but your entire life into a reflection of the ideals of virtue, wisdom, and contentment. Remember, this is just the beginning. There is a vast world of wisdom waiting to be explored, ready to guide you on your path to living a more meaningful and fulfilled life. If you found this journey enlightening and are eager to dive deeper into these teachings, I encourage you to explore our playlist right here on the screen. It is packed with insights, stories, and practical tips to help you embrace the full richness of this wisdom. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Please leave your comments and share your experiences. Let's embark on this journey of growth, resilience, and fulfillment together. Here's to mornings filled with purpose, days lived with intention, and a life brimming with gratitude. Thank you for being part of this community. See you soon.